What happened there? Well, hello, I'm Dan Lutz. The music just cut for some reason. The computer's acting a bit odd. I'm here with
Thank.
and this is another bad opening of a otherwise great
perfect opening.
Perfect opening, yeah. And even calling it an opening is not really correct. So, yeah. By the way, I just woke up about 20 minutes ago, so still drinking my tea in my very small teacup.
Yeah. Well, Dan, while you were sleeping,
yes. What's going on?
we brought the forensic nurse. We kind of hit the scene last week, and she started breaking down the package inserts or the prescribing information for the vaccines, and in a way that I've never seen anyone else do, and very thoroughly. And she explained how all the information needed to basically show that this is part of a criminal conspiracy, and that they're imposing these things. She actually steps it up and says it's witchcraft and sorcery. We talked about that a little today, maybe to tone that rhetoric back a little bit so we can bring her into court as an expert witness. And but she was really good. She was really great, and we were talking about what she wants to do, and she's involved and going to be speaking. She's getting called by news stations in Australia and places all over in the UK and Malta. They all want her help, which is amazing because we've been talking about this exact thing.
And why in Malta?
Sir. So, I'm excited to bring her on board.
Oh, wow. Your audio changed quite differently, so it's okay. It's louder.
Oh, it's better now?
Well,
or worse?
Muffled, but louder.
All right. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to find out how it relates to witchcraft and how the package insert is providing all of the information needed to take them down, because they have to tell us everything that they're doing to us. That's part of their culture, part of their magic, right? Their lesser magic, things that are put in front of us, right? That tell us exactly what they're doing in the movies, in print. So it's all, part of they have to let us know. It's I guess part of the universal agreement, right? To be so that they can continue to do these things as long as we keep agreeing to it, sort of, not against free will.
Yeah. So you know what, and the fight is on though, right? The real fight is actually shifting things. The CDC meeting that they had this past week on Wednesday and Thursday, they made some very clear statements, right, about things. They basically said that, like the Borg, they were going to force compliance, right? And that they can't force kids to take vaccines, but they can force kids in the system. In other words, kids that have already been seized and taken by the Child Protective Services, they can force compliance with them, right? And so that's out there. But they actually put a mandate out there. They said the CDC has determined that the local health department must get rid of all exemptions for every state, right, for the vaccine.
Yep.
And to get rid of every exemption in every state, if you think about this, right? So if you get rid of every exemption in every state, that goes back to the the VMAT2 gene, right? So the VMAT2 gene is basically what they have identified as the, we talked about last night, the fun vax, right? It's the, the religious fundamentalists who they criticize because in their mind, science and God are, enemies. But, for the record, science and God are best friends, right? So,
right.
Anyways.
I think science was developed by God.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty, fair conclusion. So, anyways, so the whole idea would be if you took away all of our, exemptions, well, then they can do whatever they want, right? They can now spray it in the air and make everybody, not just my, which I almost wish I didn't say out loud, my idea for their new bomb that they're going to drop, like instead of instead of tear gas. But
I'm sure that they already thought of crop dusting.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're going to put it in the food and the water and everything else. But you know what? So they actually
no. I meant wear the crop.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
No, but what they said specifically was that they said we have to do this in 2020. Now, Dan, that says to me that the CDC is still focused on Agenda 21, right? Because they're thinking we have to do this in 2020. So we've taken away all the rights. Now we can do whatever the hell we want, right? We can make everybody zombified, kill them off, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's going on. Lots of amazing stuff like that taking place with vaccines. But in the midst of that, in New York, of all places, Republican Assemblyman David DiPietro, East Aurora, wants religious exemption to vaccination reinstated into New York law and has introduced a bill to do just that. With this move, the Republicans have officially made the religious exemption to the vaccinations a hot political issue for the 2020 elections in the New York Assembly and possibly the Senate, where it matters even more. So I will be running for Assembly if that happens, being that's an issue. If for nothing else, to make that argument.
I'm glad that you're here announcing it here on the front lines.
Yep.
So that's where we're having the battles.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be weird because I'm probably going to run for president for the Democratic presidential nomination as well, just so I can debate with him.
There you go. I should also join and be on the presidential Democratic ticket. I mean, everyone thought I was a Democrat. It was very funny, in California. They just assumed I was, right? From
right.
And later they find out I'm really conservative. Then they scratch their head, right? It doesn't make any sense to them. And I said, that I'm not, but when I have a conversation and go into the politics side, really, I'm not on either side, right? That's what it turns out. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. Actually, I used to be a Republican until Ross Perot. and then I left the Republican Party because they didn't make any sense. So
right.
So that became the Reform Party, and the Reform Party disappeared, right? So they couldn't classify me as Democrat, Republican, or Independent because I never went ahead and joined another party. So they always had to leave me unclassified, and I preferred that. Only thing it meant I couldn't vote in the primaries, right? But anyway, I think that's the unclassified. Get rid of the parties is probably the best solution. Or right now we need one party, and it just happens to be coalescing under Trump. Just like we have 50 countries in the world lined up behind Trump against who we're really fighting against. Right? I think, the Americans all need to rally behind the president. That's what I think.
I think that's very solid, yeah.
I guess so.
forget. I had some other news here coming in. I was trying to see if I could share it, but I don't know if I can. There's really exciting impeachment news. Oh wait, no, there's not. There's no news on the impeachment front, other than it's like the most ridiculous thing ever taking place. I love Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz. I wish we had two of those guys in every single state. Jim Jordan came out and was like, he goes, the facts haven't changed. All that's changed is the spin, So they continue to try to, make this all something it's not, right? They're like, everybody that's been interviewed, every ambassador, every politician from Ukraine, everyone says Trump did nothing wrong. There is absolutely nothing that made them feel like there was quid pro quo, and so on and so on. And furthermore, the transcript was completely released and transparent, and ridiculousness. So it's just a sham, this whole thing, right? That they're when you're elite, you can just do whatever the hell you want, is what they think, right? They're used to being above the government, and this is the first time the government's like, no, you're not. But at the same time, they're still doing it. So, I guess they are kind of getting away with it still, right?
Right.
But Attorney General Barr did come out today, or I think it was today, and he basically said that he called out Comey as being inept in his leadership because of the way he handled the Russian hoax, because of all the information that he ignored. Now, I think it's a bit more than just failure of leadership,
Today I'm going to show you the family tree.
Sorry about that.
It would have been, if you would have had a great Comey quote right then, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, well, this was something I started watching. I just switched the screens and it came on. It's the Rothschild family tree, and it has a breakdown of all the individual people, and how they descended, right? It's just good informational stuff.
Almost good.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes of 20 minutes of the family tree on a structured drawing, and then let you see where they went and how they're doing things, and how you can track what companies are associated with. There's another one. I'm sorry, a little off topic here, but that I picked up out of one of our chat rooms. That it's one of these charts that shows relationships between all the players based around Epstein, and you can click on any one individual, and it'll show you the line that comes from Epstein over to Giselle Maxwell, right? And then for everyone that's around them, and who accused who of things, or what company they were attached to, or so you can see the whole network, and it goes into all of this. So you can see what the connections are for all the companies. Actually, I should probably bring that up. it's good to take a look at.
Yeah,
I sent it to you just so you know it's in your Telegram.
Gotcha.
I think I did.
Yeah, so the Democratic Party seems to be coming unhinged, as far as I can tell. I mean, yesterday they got beat, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago, they got the beat down in their life, right? Because it's like, Trump just pulled off, and got your boy, right? al-Baghdadi, took him out. Because, they were going to try to make Trump look like a fool, right? Because he pulled troops out of Syria. So they were like, we need to get a message to al-Baghdadi to go in hard now and really blow things up to make it look bad, right? So I think that's what Schiff and Pelosi were doing there. There was a ceasefire called, and they were going there to break the ceasefire and tear it up, cause some problems.
Yeah,
but,
I think they're they're saying they want to find. The news story is, they're trying to get information, get the King of Jordan to go along and say that he doesn't support Trump, right? But that's not it, right? It's obviously that there's something else that's going on there. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty fascinating and fun idea that, that those two are involved in that. Not fun idea, but just it's a tragedy that is allowed to continue on. And but there is some real fighters there who their credibility is so much more powerful. Their arguments are so much more logical. The way they conduct themselves is so much classier. The way that they actually handle, their questioning is so impressive. And Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan. I mean, these guys, they're 1,000 years ahead of the ridiculous, fake inquiries when they're trying to grill someone and capture them in something, right? I mean, I cannot believe some of these people have the nerve, like Katie Hill, right? So Katie Hill steps down because, she's involved in, like one of her staffers she was sleeping with and brought home to the bedroom to spice things up in her marriage. And then some other guy or girl, I don't know. And, and to be honest, like, would anybody even care? I mean, like, we're in an era of, like, transhumanism and all types of debauchery, right? That, like, is being imposed on people. Do we really care if, like, a woman's, like, bi and, like, bringing somebody home for a threesome? Like, does anyone care? Like, you didn't have to leave office. Like, so she steps down, she leaves office, and now she's claiming that she's part of a Republican, attack against her, a right-wing conspiracy to attack her. It's like, no, you weren't. You were a punk because people said bad things about you. You ran your mouth about Kavanaugh, even after Kavanaugh was obviously cleared. He didn't do anything wrong. It's completely exposed now that everybody in the Democratic Party was in on, the takedown, to try to make Kavanaugh look like a jerk because they didn't want a conservative, Supreme Court. Right. If there was a logic behind what they're doing, right, and it made sense for the best interest of the people, it's like, I could care less if you're a Democrat or, a Republican or, a frog prince. I could care less what you are. I do not care about you. I don't affiliate with any political party, and like, but I know there's a common misconception. But what I do is people accuse me of like, oh, you're right wing. I'm like, I am, but only by default, because right now, being Republican and right wing at this moment means that you're being logical and you're humane. And the other side is part of the genocidal movement, is all. That's just where it is. But I can care less about those labels.
Yeah, the only label that I care about right now is being an American. At this point, and to rally around the president. And I was telling Tink this earlier. I was growing up, I considered myself a Republican. Until I was, I don't know, maybe late 20s, something like that. Whenever Ross Perot ran for president. And when that happened, I switched parties because the Republicans are not, they're not doing what they're saying. They're not making small government. They weren't, business friendly. They were anti-American. My opinion. So I switched to the Reform Party. And then after that, I was Ross Perot. His party disappeared, and then I was without a label, and I preferred that as uncategorized. So I wasn't a Democrat, I wasn't a Republican, I was not independent. They couldn't, unless I actually ticked that little box that said I was independent. They could not do anything except have me uncategorized. So that was, I like that. But anyway, I think that the best party that we should have right now is only, get behind the president, and that includes Democrats, that includes Republicans, that includes independents. Just like we have 54 countries that are going to get out of the climate accords with Paris, say we're not going to, turn ourselves over to the Rothschild, new system. Let's not sign up for that, and get behind Trump, and let's make a new world. Forget about these other labels and what you think you know about a Democrat or what you think you know about a Republican. It's all BS. So let's change this out. I'm queuing up this I know it's a little off topic, but it's such a fantastic device to show as a tool to show what's going on. This is the Jeffrey Epstein network graph on this site that makes graphs. I think we could probably use this, in demonstrating things. So okay, I'm showing it. I can share my screen with you also, Tank, so you can see it.
Cool. Watch it.
All right, here we go. All right, so this is it's on graphcoms.com, and then I sent the link to you, Tank, and Lisa and Sid.
Oh, good.
So
Gotcha.
So here it is. I can use my scrolly wheel, and go back and forth. I can drag it around. So here's Jeffrey Epstein in the middle, right? So if I just select him, it shows all the connections going out to who. Right, in the corner over here, we actually also show, his information about him on the side, right? So you can select any of these, right? But let's find. Here's Bill Clinton up here. So let me select Bill Clinton. And see, now you could track Bill Clinton to whoever he's connected to, right?
Wow.
And you're going to see what the relationship is. And then you can just keep following it. Council and foreign relations. Let's go over to there. Let's click on that one. So everything's leading into, you see all the arrows are going into the Council on Foreign Relations, and you've got one coming out, and that's the Trilateral Commission. You click on the Trilateral Commission, you can see, Jeffrey Epstein's connected to that one, right? And then you see the other people that are involved with it. And
very interesting.
So here's the British royal family. Oh wow, it's got it doesn't look like there's anyone directly going to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's interesting.
But that's not true, though. Because Andrew Windsor.
Well, I don't. So here I select on Andrew Windsor though, and he connects to the British royal family. So
I see.
You see,
okay.
So it's just showing relationships. You have to watch the direction of the arrows and things like that. So these kind of tools are very powerful for when you want to, put a whole picture together of what's actually going on. So what would you say if you did this with the vaccines?
It's amazing. I was just thinking about that. What a great tool. I love this. I'm actually going to start. We've been talking about ways to present evidence, because we are, we have a very strong legal argument about this, but to be honest, it's all about how you present it, right?
Right.
So to be able to actually explain it, I think, is the key. So this would be a great way to do that. So I'm going to use this right away. And I'm going to start putting those pieces together, and
so
our team will start adding to it.
So here's interesting. I just clicked on Google, right? So you got Eric Schmidt and these other people, that are connected to it. But if you slide over here, you say, oh wow, well here's Isabel Maxwell. Isabel Maxwell. Wow. Let me click on Isabel Maxwell. Well, here's Christine Maxwell, and here's Giselle Maxwell. So you can see, you could trace if there could be an in-between person, right, between the different groups. Right, and that's how you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So otherwise, you don't see a direct connection between Giselle Maxwell, right, and then Google, right. But if you go through her sister, I guess, I don't know if that's her sister or not, but Christine and Giselle Maxwell, then you can see that's directly connected to Google. So this is why this is a very powerful tool, to show these relationships.
Sure. It's really amazing. I realize with something like the vaccines, if you use it, you can keep tracing it back. it eventually will just show how, and they're using it here and here. It'll basically connect the entire massive web of the order.
Right. Exactly. It'll show who's profiting from it. What what you could even put in. Now this is really just showing the people, right? Companies.
Right.
There's a company. So you can also put. I think I don't know this particular program. I haven't used this website. I'm going to be using this website. This is a fantastic tool to have, right? So
right,
yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So
what did you say? It's graph.com or graphs?
You have the link, but it's graphcommons.com. Graph Commons. COMMONS. Graph. GRA.
Oh, Commons. Gotcha.
GRAPH.
Cool.
COMMONS.com.
Cool.
So, yeah, this amazing.
Fun times.
How this. I mean, we could do like, oh, here's interesting. Ronald Reagan. How does that tie in? So Roger Stone.
Ronald Reagan does it?
Yeah, well, you'll see who from who. Rupert Murdoch, right, to Paul Manafort. There we go. There's a connection to today's storylines. Larry King.
Wow. Yeah.
Covenant House. Steve. What's this guy's name? The spy. Penensic. He always appeared on Alex Jones. I like him. But he's obviously a controller. You see the
right.
Connections to JP Morgan.
Look at this.
So, no, I wouldn't say that that this makes Ronald Reagan, I mean, his ties to Epstein, I don't think are so strong, right? There's nothing going directly to Epstein with Ronald Reagan. Why is this like clicking like that? Roy Cohn.
So there was it's a pretty cool idea, man. I'm gonna actually set that up for my team to go in and start adding facts and information. That'll be incredible.
Yeah, so then you can see these are, the testing facilities, right? Which aren't any. Yeah, or but I guess you can say, well, where are the testing facilities? There are no relationships to any testing facilities because they haven't done any testing. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
classic.
Would be able to show those things. So, all right, let's. I'll stop this now.
So, anyways, we all I know from Kim is that she's been battling with hackers all day. So, no idea when that battle comes to an end or what the end is. Or usually, when Kim is fighting with hackers, she is destroying their systems so they can't recover. Hopefully she's doing that today with reckless abandon. That's what I'm hoping. Because at some point I would just like to move forward. And but I know she's doing she's doing her best.
I think just the next time she does, okay, they're ready to accept money again. Say, okay, why don't you pay me for the previous 2% that you didn't pay me?
It's. Yeah, I know. Well, I think they have to pay all that back. Well, and really the trust pays that too, So
yeah,
like
but they took that money and it's the stuff that she didn't take back. They owe it. So I said, okay, well, pay this one. Oh, you don't have that much money? Oh, okay, make installments. Right? Send me something. Send me $1. All right, here's my account. Send me $1.
That's really all it would take. As soon as they pay the administration fee, they have submitted. They have acknowledged that she is the sovereign.
I think that's
but there's this other guy, Russell Gould, right, or Russell J. Gould, who claims to be the Postmaster General, right? So he came out, I guess, to like discredit Kim. And he said he's got this really lengthy, ridiculous explanation of who he is, right? Like all these credentials, just insanity on his LinkedIn page. And we were looking at it earlier today. Here, I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, okay.
This guy is definitely legit here. I mean, not legit, but it's just funny. I mean, I guess I should take him seriously. I don't want to insult the guy or anything, because But look at it. Imagine having this be your LinkedIn. World Central Bank, which, by the way, we know the central bank is Kim, right? She is the World Central. She controls that. Colonial owner, World Central Bank, planet Earth of this now space, first creator of the quantum banking, Global Monetary Fund, Unity States, Treasury, and World Central Bank with the correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar of the planet Earth. This is all like lawyer talk. That's the same thing forward and backwards and all stuff. Commander-in-Chief of the Pentagon, really, military corporations, key master of Vatican City, Italy, comptroller of the global currency. Now, none of that's true, because the comptroller was Marduk, and Marduk is dead. And the way that the draconian side of the order works is kind of like you keep what you kill. But but the reality is Kim has an actual right to it, because the Contracts for Humanity went into place in 2012, and there's only one person that can open the system. So Russell J. Gould, unless you have the exact same DNA as Kim, you are not any of those things.
What's the guy's
son of a bitch, because you should be funding the people.
What's this guy's name? What's this guy's name?
Russell J. Gould.
Okay. I'm just looking him up.
I saw a video of his where he was talking about things, and I'm sure he's real. I'm sure he's something, And
well, he's not the current Postmaster General, according to what came up when I first searched for it.
What came up?
His name was not the one that came up when I put in Postmaster General. So I said, that was Megan something. I just passed it by already. So I see his LinkedIn.
Well, I guess we will see. So anyway, so that guy's, he's claiming to be the boss for, he tried to discredit Kim because he's the big shot. And I'm sure he has lots of paperwork because, the previous order, they love paperwork, right? And he did write his LinkedIn page in proper syntax, language. So maybe, I guess that's the difference.
But why is he shouting all caps?
And that's how you have to write it, because you're a corporate entity, right? So he's
well, that's only the title, I guess, of things, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I know.
The whole sham, to me, it doesn't just feel like it's getting old. I was talking to this the forensic nurse, right? And she put out this really impressive video, and she's really high energy and really quick processing. And and she's like, "Can't we just talk about this?" I'm like, "Yes, we can, but you're gonna find, as you do, people aren't gonna be as receptive as you might think." For the most part, it's like you gotta kind of ease people into some stuff, right? And she's like getting, she's like very religious, so she's getting like recruited to come like speak at churches and church radio stations and stuff like that. And so it's like, in the midst of her giving a very thorough clinical explanation of something, then I asked her like a straight question about like, well, why would they do that? Like, why would they add that to a vaccine? And she goes, sorcery and witchcraft. And I was like, why? So, she's also a spiritualist. That's my point. And she's right about that, but I'm like, I talked to her, I'm like, we should probably explain that a little bit so people understand what that means. But, so,
I think it would be good to explain that. Why don't you bring her on? I'd love to talk.
Bring her on. One night this week, and she can expound to me. She's super, super high energy, and she's very sharp with stuff. And she's going to be great. She's going to be a great addition, but we'll definitely bring her on to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, but she's getting recruited by all types of people. So that's why after we did our interview, I made sure to reach back out to her just to check on her.
Right.
She was texting me like 20 times, a bunch of times telling me stuff. And I was like, okay, I just want to make sure she doesn't get kind of pulled into the wrong circle of, corrupt animals who are going to, take her and try to make her something else,
Mm-hmm.
We need all the freedom fighters fighting for the good guys. That's at the end of the day. So that's where we're at. So, man, that's all I got, Dan. That's all I got today.
Oh, I want to make this I'm sorry. I was just kind of. I'm doing some, office work. I'm passing this link to someone for this Russell J. Gould guy. Say, hey, you know who this is?
I'm sure that they know him. I'm sure he's in the Sicarno, Marcos world of, super undetectable villains.
Yeah, I'm checking more. Not that side of the world, but more. U.S. Upper level of U.S. side of things. See what that turns out.
Well, I heard his name mentioned one time in a great explanation of somebody who rushed down to the United Nations, to right when the contract in the U.S. was about to expire, and went in there and submitted it just in time when bankruptcy was about to take place, and and the ownership was about to be given back over to the Queen or something like that. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like the title he's describing is definitely Marduk. Maybe this is Marduk. Or a clone of Marduk. Who knows? Who knows? I feel like he would have had more command than to come on and comment, on a YouTube. I feel like he can do whatever he wants, but who knows?
Yeah. If they had this cloning stuff down, I think I need a couple more of me. Wasn't there like a movie, Multiplicity, I think it was? Maybe I might be.
Multiplicity. Michael Keaton?
Yeah. So he had so many I said, that would be really cool. I could get so much done.
Yeah, I think that's the theory, but there's something about that, right? Like, it's just off, right?
Yeah, it doesn't quite work out. So.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with me, and I'll just work with other people.
Hey, here's a question. Someone just asked me for the Iron Mountain report. I'm on the.
You
site.
can go to the speakproject.net and go to Essential Docs, and it is posted there.
I'm here. That's why I'm asking you. I'm looking under I for Iron Mountain on the categories, but there's just not categories, right? So it's under essential documents. That's what it'll be under. I got it now. There's a category there. Yeah, see, that wasn't that was not easy. If I didn't ask you, I would never. It would have taken me like half an hour to figure out where it was. And I don't see it. It's not here.
Yeah, we're always adding and modifying to make that better. Vera, she does a lot of work for us, and
I'm doing a search. I'm doing a search now on Iron Mountain. Okay, report from Iron
online
Mountain.
or
in your. So now the search works. It comes up there. Report from Iron Mountain.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, one of the things that's happened, they keep taking things down from the site, and we don't know until people look for them.
Okay, now I got the link. I can just pass the link to someone, which is good. I don't have to download the document, but I'll download it anyway. I think I downloaded it way before, a long time ago, but
yeah. we keep it up there. I mean, there's a ton of documents, but I did notice the same thing. I went back in to search the site, and I was like, "Where's this at?" And they should have been there. They just, I guess, they just evaporated.
Yeah. So
sometimes people will go to our YouTube channel; it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's when you're dealing with documents and things like that, you have to have some sort of work. We should probably really go through. It's 79 pages. Maybe we should, go through it and do a reading of it online at some point, and maybe break it down into sections. And that's quite a lot to go through in one round, and then we can assemble it afterwards into pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well mapped out too, so we could highlight it ahead of time.
Okay, that's another way of doing it. Yeah,
go through it 10 pages at a time because it's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to like go from one section and then jump to another section to see how they go together and what they really say.
Yeah. So like this section 4, War and Peace as Social Systems. Right. So that's
right.
telling. That's telling. You just go through that one section. That's there's 3 pages. Section 5, the functions of war. It's that economic. There's a subsection to that. Political subsection. Sociological subsection.
Well, here, this to me kind of breaks it down, right?
Okay.
So this is Agenda 21. The UN wants to ban private property and create, quote, human habitat settlement zones. This quote is from the next quote is from the Club of Rome. The common enemy of humanity is man. In searching for a new enemy to unite us, now, first of all, that ideology is completely draconian mentality. We need an enemy, like a common enemy to hate, right? So, in searching for a new enemy to unite us, this is all from the Iron Mountain agenda. I mean, the same exact idea. We came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy, the real enemy then is humanity itself. I think that's pretty clear, right?
Right.
Then that's from the Club of Rome, and that's the premier environmental think tank consultants to the United Nations. Then effective execution of Agenda 21 will require a profound reorientation of all human society. Unlike anything the world has ever experienced, a major shift in the priorities of both governments and individuals, and an unprecedented redeployment of human and financial resources. This shift will demand that a concern for the environmental consequences of every human action be integrated into individual and collective decision-making at every level. UN Agenda 21. So they're basically saying, like, you'll never be able to make another decision for yourself again without considering, the mandate.
Well, if you have no desire, how can you make a decision?
Right.
It's vaccination against. So they
it's how you justify, dropping, massive poison on the entire population.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we told you it's Agenda 21. Everyone signed up for it. You're in the Paris Climate Agreement. Paris should be ashamed of itself. We should remove the Eiffel Tower from them. They don't deserve it.
Oh my gosh, man. Some of this stuff is so terrifying. The earth has cancer, and the cancer is man. Club of Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah. So it's the cancer. The cancer is them. They are the cancer. The ones that write these documents. The ones that are want to basically look for the boogeyman in the mirror. Okay, that's the guy right there, looking in the mirror. We got to stop him. Well, in that case, yeah. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see what we're going through right now, and it's also interesting if you just look at what this is. This worldwide domination idea that they have, that they need to be in control of the whole world, and that they deserve it, right? And the way they're going to do it is by attacking everyone, make everyone the enemy, right? And then you have to just get people on the other side and say, yeah, you go out and attack those because they're the bad guys. Well, it's you, right? It's a circular. Or you join them, but they eventually get to you because there's no one left. Right? It basically eats itself. It's the snake eating its tail.
Yeah, I mean, the views of the United Nations are largely sculpted by the Club of Rome, and this is another commentary on the Agenda 21. This says. In a nutshell, the plan calls for governments to take control of all land use and not leave any of the decision-making in the hands of private property owners. But side note, keep in mind that one of our fundamental rights used to be to own private property. Matter of fact, the two primary principles of Black's law was actually do no harm to others and do no harm to property. So now the next sentence says, it is assumed that people are not good stewards of their land, and the government will do a better job if they are in control.
Right.
Individual rights in general.
Show where that actually has happened, where a government has done better at anything.
Oh my God, never. I mean, and then on top of that, it's like the first sentence is the way it starts is it is assumed. So the fact that you assume that people are not good stewards of their land, based on what?
They're the only good stewards of their land. That's the primary point. Right. Is that the best way to take care of something is if you have personal ownership over it, even if that's including your children, because you do own your children. They are not individual beings until they're adults, right? Until the rite of passage. It doesn't. And I'm not saying that the rite of passage is something that's tied to your age, right? That some cultures it's at puberty, right? That makes sense, right? You transition biologically. Maybe you're not mentally capable of doing everything at the age of say 13, 14, 15, 16. But whenever that happens, you are different, but you're still we call young adults. But your body isn't done, your brain is not done developing until it's 24 years old. So what is the second? I think that property ownership could only be done after age 20. I think it was 24 or 20. I think it wasn't 21. That was the previous time that they lowered the age to the age of consent, right? They keep lowering the age of consent, right? Now they want to bring it down to age 1 week. I don't know. Birth, 1 minute. I don't know.
They don't even care anymore. It's just when the age of consent is whenever we feel like doing what we want to do is basically what it's come down to.
Right. Yeah.
But the second line is even more disturbing. If you can believe it. Individual rights in general are to give way to the needs of communities as determined by the governing body. Moreover, people should be rounded up off the land and packed into human settlements or islands of human habitation, close to employment centers and transportation. In other words, you gather all the slaves into one place and you make it so they can't move.
Yeah, terrifying. Exactly. It's herd. You manage the herd. You move it from this pen to the other pen. Right, you make sure that you document how many head of cattle are moving from here to there, so you know how you can do your accounting, right? You know how much food you want to send there, how you want to treat the food, right? You want to add some vitamins to the food, you want to add some antibiotics to the food, you want to spray the food. Oh, I'm sorry, spray the herd. Yeah, same thing, for them. So yeah, it's just managing. They're just managing their crops, managing their herd. It's just farming to them. Human husbandry.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's why they call it pharmaceuticals, right? It's farm.
Yeah.
You're just the same way that you load the cows with, whatever you want them to do, right?
Yeah.
Like antibiotics.
Oh, it's spelled with
steroids.
a PH. That makes it medical.
Right. Yeah, it's different. It's different than farm. That's what it is. That's the secret.
Don't tell
the entire UN debacle. So the UN is basically evil. I mean, there's no question. I mean, the fact that you said to round up the humans, which they also define as a cancer, that the Earth has a cancer and it is, humans. That is that's where we live. Where these people who have been imposing everything. Now we're actually in the process of tracking back the ownership, right? Through like Bradford and Dunn to the CDC to show that the CDC is actually controlled by the WHO. The WHO is actually controlled by the United Nations. It's just a body of the United Nations. So is, all these other financial organizations. So the United Nations has basically been illegally occupying the space. And in Utah the other day, the group there, they said, we're part of the United Nations. They declared their sovereignty, that they're not bound by U.S. law.
Who declared their sovereignty?
It was United Nations. They were pushing people out of some place and basically told them, like, look, we're the United Nations. We do whatever the hell we want.
In Utah. That's interesting.
In Utah, yep.
I'll check in on that.
We should probably write a letter to Mittens. I'm sure he'll be all over it. He'll take care of it. Let him know.
Yeah. So I think he should take a clue from who's the representative that just stepped down. I don't even know her name for the three-way.
Katie Hill.
Katie Hill. Yeah, Romney should take a clue from her. Obviously because he's caught up in the same type of things. Drugs, threesomes, odd sex, some other things that they're tied into that.
I think that's a small, by comparison to the massive pedophile ring and pedivores and all that kind of stuff. I think like you're into threesomes. I guess like by comparison, it's much smaller, right?
Right.
Like as long as part of the threesome isn't like two little kids, I care less,
Right. Yeah, exactly. If someone wants to, do those kind of things, that's fine. But it's not. I don't think that's the optimum way to raise children in that type of relationship.
No, I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying, by comparison,
Sure. Yeah.
It's a better option.
I don't know. When the younger you are, the more that seems like a good option.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's I don't know. I mean, personally, that's not my thing, but
I know.
Down a weird road.
Well,
but anyways,
I kind of remember when I was in high school, and I had two really, really beautiful teachers, and I had I caught myself fantasizing about both of them at the same time. So it's like.
Yeah, I feel like that would result in like you getting chastised and yelled at for not paying attention. I don't know.
Well, that was all part of it.
It doesn't end well. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's part of the fantasy. Sorry,
it's part of the fantasy that was all there. Yeah.
Right, and that's all we have tonight, folks.
That's it. Exit stage left.
Yeah. All right. So we're obviously, there's plenty of things going on to talk about, but probably not tonight. I expect a couple other things to be breaking up this week. This is supposed to be a very exciting week, and I am praying every second of every hour of every day that we finally break through and we're able to actually stand liberated, that we have earned the right to be free. You know, Kanye West, who I've never been a fan of because he was such an egomaniac, always talking about what a genius he was. You know, he said something the other day, and I've warmed up to him, you know, since I've warmed up to Trump at the same time, right? Because he's been, you know, a big supporter of Trump, and he's really stood up to basically call out a lot of the rap community for being Illuminati or whatever else. Which I don't know if he is or not, but I mean, probably. I mean, like, but whatever. But he did say this the other day, and I thought it was powerful. He said, God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the call. And I love that, because that's something I'm always preaching, right? It's not enough just because, you know, you got called. It's about showing that you're worthy for the vocation for which you were called, right? And I think about that every single day, that I do all I can to walk worthy of that vocation. And I encourage everybody else to do the same. And that's all I got, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to add one more fantasy to it, involving involving Kim. So Kim,
all right.
Kim,
If you get ugly, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. So Kim has them send her each $1, right? As they want money, send me $1, right? And then she just goes down to the bank and she withdraws that $1, and then she goes to 7-Eleven and she buys, I don't know, a coffee or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do it on camera. Right? That's my fantasy. Just have each of them that wants money from her do that.
You know, at one point, that was part of our plan, right? That Kim was going to temporarily be like, you know, our private banker, you know, until we broke through fully, just to give relief to the people that we worked for, right? And what we were going to do is, you know, as she moved money in, I was supposed to go down and film everything, right? Film it, show we have money, we're here, and like do everything. And we would have gone live probably, you know, on the spot. And that was part of the plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know about I don't mean about personal banking, but just to show that they submitted the $1 right to her, you know,
right.
Sure. give her homage to her, you know, providing the money, right? So, at least to show, okay, right. Send me the $1 beforehand. Oh, you don't have $1? Why should I give you any money? You can't even hold on to what I give you. Can't even hold on to $1. You have $1 to send me?
Yeah. So, anyways,
all right.
That's all she wrote. We expect tomorrow's show to be even more exciting.
Yeah.
And,
anyway, before Sid jumps on here, we better get off. Yeah.
All right, man. I'm all set. I'll talk to you later. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Peace out from New York.
Yeah. No. Peace out from the Philippines.